Welcome to Coffee with the County. Today I have the pleasure of meeting with Commissioner Kearney, Michael Kearney. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. Can I call you Commissioner Kearney?
You can call me Michael, please.
I'll call you Michael for sure. We really appreciate having you in. I know the listeners will appreciate the great perspective from the commissioner level and how that board of commissioners is working hard to grow our community and take care of the citizens. But I want to start with you. Tell me, where did you start?
Retired Air Force. After I retired, my wife decided that we were going to move to her home farm. It's the Tweet Farm. So if you drive 169, you'll know it. It's the red and white striped farm. Everybody sees it as you go by.
Very nice.
So she took over the farm, did cattle for a while. After I retired from the military, I was a government contractor. Aviation, transportation management, it was my forte. I still deal with the company on that. But to the commissioner side, the northern portion of the county, it touches east and west sides to Itasca. We are probably the largest land mass county district, well, with the fewer population.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have Hill City, Jacobson, Palisade, the townships, Morrison, Fleming, if I forget any, Logan.
How did you get all the beautiful country? Because
Yes.
that seems like the beautiful country
It is.
of Aiken County.
It is. The northern portion of the county is the Lake counties, with the exception of District 4, who has Big Sandy. But no, we are blessed. We have great people, great constituents, great business owners, all striving to provide a service in a small county, population-wise, and I think doing very well.
Small business in that area, hugely important, and I think you're a small business owner yourself in that area.
I am.
Correct?
My wife and I own Gabby's Eats and Treats in Palisade. Speaking of business in Palisade, I am happy to report that we do have a new business coming into Palisade. They have agreed to purchase the mercantile building that's been in disrepair for many years.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a fully certified USDA processing plant for the farmers, by the farmers, buying locally, processing locally. It's going to be named Palisade City Meats and Processing. We're very excited with that business coming into Palisade, and hopefully we're looking at housing development, not just in Palisade area, but throughout the county. I think that's one of all of the commissioners' vision is to get workforce housing.
Yeah.
We're excited about Aiken's housing that's getting put up by the hospital. That apartment building is going to be wonderful. And then next year, the 55 and older compound that they're going to build there is great. But we need to look at the outlying areas also.
Absolutely.
Of getting housing into those areas. And if we bring housing in, we have to have jobs. This one is looking at, like I believe they said, if let me check here real quick. I don't want to misquote. We're looking at 8 to 15 jobs just in Palisade.
Yeah, that's a significant number for a small area like that.
Right. What a wonderful opportunity, and we're excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned housing. Housing is one of the big items that's always on economic development's list. It's something that I think we've been behind a bit in Aiken County on the development. I think that we're doing a number of things to help get us a jump start into that, and that's all led by the commissioners. And we've got a really strong, aggressive group of commissioners that really care and want to build our area, right, and want to continue growth in our area, responsible growth.
I agree, and thank you for that comment. But I think that we can thank two of our senior commissioners who have been on the board for many years, Commissioner Western and Commissioner Weedle. They have been great resources for us younger commissioners. Now we're going on 3 years, but we're still young commissioners in that aspect. And they've been a great wealth of knowledge for us to inform us of how the process is going. And, sometimes you come into something new. Now, like me, this is the first elected position that I've ever held.
Yeah.
So there was a big learning curve, and I've embraced AMC, Association of Minnesota Counties, a great organization that provides training and gives you the base knowledge where you can work from. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say what a great set of department heads we have in Aiken County. They took the helm when our administrator left, was selected for another position. Great move for her. But in the interim, we needed leadership. to keep the county moving, and they did a phenomenal job working together. And just put a shout out to them. Says thank you to the departments for letting us utilize your leadership to navigate the county in its transition.
Yeah, they're a great group.
Yes.
I agree. First elected role, right?
Yes.
How did you want to become? Where did you make the decision that now I want to be a public servant?
It all started with a conversation in the restaurant. Commissioner Sample was there, and I was complaining about how it didn't feel like the processes that I looked at, the way the county was going, that we got to do better. There's better ways to get economic development. There's got to be a change. And he made a comment, so if you don't like it, why don't you run for office? So a week later, he came in complaining about something. And I said, well, if you don't like it, you run for office. And we both did run for office. Our predecessors did a great job. They had high tenure. They did exceptional work. You look at your county building. They did wonderful work. My predecessor did great work with the PILT program. That's payment in lieu of taxes on land, and she spearheaded that through AMC and did a phenomenal job. But I was so gracious to be elected. It has been an awesome ride. It's been fun to watch the transition of things transpire. That business economic development is going crazy. It's exciting to see new businesses come in, facelifts to other businesses, and you've been a part of this, and thank you. In the economic development arena, our businesses had been dilapidated. You would drive through town and they didn't have that spark, but I mean, you can look at downtown Aiken, just rejuvenated. It's exciting. Last week I drove by and they were having a festival in the streets again. It's a great thing to see. I was invited to the Hill City Night Out. National Night Out, thank you. Greatly attended. It was a great event. They had music, food, and a great atmosphere. Yeah. So, we're seeing this pop up in all of these communities. You know, we have our annual festivals and stuff like that, but these other ones popping out, the National Night Outs, I didn't see them before, you know, and we're starting to see some of these things pop up, and you're getting attendance and you're getting participation.
Yeah,
and be advised, county commissioners, the public is watching. They're taking notice of what is happening, and they're taking notice of the changes within the county government.
Absolutely. I love to see those events well attended. I mean, that's what our community is all about, that local community getting together and community taking care of community. Some awesome messages there. And there is a lot of momentum. There's a lot of momentum throughout the county. There's a lot of different things as commissioner, I'm sure, that you're working on or understanding that you probably didn't even think you would talk about before. Can you describe some of those things that come to your priority list as commissioner?
I can tell you, when I got elected, I said I would be an ear. I would listen to my constituents, and I believe I've done that. I said I would be present. I attend as many of the township board meetings as I can. I attend every one of the quarterly township board meetings held here at the courthouse. I think it's important to stay in tune with the townships because they're just another entity of county government.
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
I think being in tune with them, they understand and they're being heard. And if they know that they're being heard, we can't always fix the issue. But if we listen and we try and then we report back of, hey, this happened. I'll give you a good example of that. Hill City had a water issue problem our first year being elected. They had water that people were buying bottled water for their homes. Well, Commissioner Sample, myself, and the mayor, Mayor Dave Lang, made it a priority to go to legislators, talk to them, discuss the problems, go out to Washington, D.C. Having done that, working with the mayor down at our capital and at Washington, D.C., Hill City was able to garner $6 to $7 million to fund their project. Okay, that great
amazing
report, great outcome. Now this year we went out to get a funding to legislation for funding for Jacobson. We met with their township, their supervisors for the fire hall and community centers. Unfortunately, we weren't successful. But the same thing happened. We were present as commissioners. We listened. We became involved with them, and we took their issue, the state or the federal government. We did the same thing out at Washington, D.C. for the water in Palisade and
Tamarack.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tamarack.
Yeah.
And we don't always get the results that we want, but I can guarantee you, if we're present, we're receptive, I think our public understands that you don't win every battle. We try. I think another thing that as the commissioners, that one of our goals was to keep the levy down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have to chuckle when I watch people run for an election. The first thing they count is that we're going to cut property taxes. And I have to chuckle because they don't understand the real process. And I didn't understand it in full until I got down and started involving with it. A lot of the percentages are derived from the state. They're not derived in the county. There could be, your property taxes can go up by no effect by the levy. By $0 a levy, it's dependent on how the formula is created down in the state level.
Yeah.
So, and educating people on that, I think is a great thing, because then they look at it and go, oh, okay, because you can have a zero levy and still have a property tax increase.
Yeah.
So
it's hugely complicated. It's amazing to watch the process from, as an outsider in
Sure.
economic development, I get to listen and see and learn from Kathleen, our auditor,
Yes.
doing a wonderful job putting all of that together. And it is complicated.
Yes.
It's hugely complicated to, as a government and a responsible government, we're trying to do as much as we can with as little as we can.
Absolutely.
That's our role as government. And I think our department heads and I think the commissioners do a great job of getting the best that we possibly can get. And you mentioned the grant activities and things
Sure.
like that, switching over to that for a second, just to know that there's a lot more that goes into it than just saying we need something help.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And you may not win everyone. You're
No.
absolutely right. But
You don't.
Your commitment to your area is commendable. I mean, it's the way that it should be. Try, take it as a challenge, and continue to go on with it. Huh?
Yeah, so sometimes we get beaten up and bruised and sent away, and but I believe that there's a common understanding, and it's not just our districts. I said we overlap. A lot of us commissioners overlap into each other's districts to help out. Some have better forte with the legislators in the state. Some have better forte with legislation at Washington, D.C. And you utilize those assets. We have other commissioners from other counties that we rely on that have relationships.
Yeah.
And it's very important that being in this and being part of the Association of Minnesota Counties, very much like the township associations, they learn that we all have the same issues. It may not be same geographical area, but we all have the same issues, and working together we get our voice.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. It just even as our county level, that they understand that we're doing our very best to provide them the most services available at a reasonable cost, because everything costs. There's everything does cost. But if they can get a good return on their investment, I think we've done our job. And hopefully we'll find out come next year at election time, right?
There you go. Yeah.
I think that's our report card.
Yeah.
And I think that
the people will speak. That's the way that
absolutely.
it's supposed to work, and
Sure.
that's all well and good the way that it should be. But again, the commitment from the commissioners.
Sure.
It's a large county by size. It's not
Sure,
a large
it is.
county by population.
That's right.
And it does take all of you together
Absolutely.
to work on these issues
Yeah.
that come up and that concern citizens.
Absolutely.
You mentioned housing.
Sure.
We're talking about the budget. The budget's going to be, we're hearing a lot of bad news coming from state and from federal on the budget over the next couple of years. And
Sure.
I know you guys are doing great things to make that as minimal impact to the citizens as possible.
Sure.
Any other items that
I can
you
tell
want
you
to
from
talk about?
the meeting today, I'll report that we're just looking at a preliminary, and our preliminary is looking at like 5.2% increase, which is phenomenal. And I have to give credit to our department heads, and our auditor, that they're taking this situation, I'll call it a situation with the federal government and the state, of trying to pass down funding cuts to the county and the constituents. I can speak for me, and I'm sure the board would agree with me, is that we are going to ensure that their pass-through costs are not going to come down to their local taxpayers.
Awesome.
We'll
Yeah.
take a stand, and like I said, our department heads, they've come in with a very, very sound preliminary budget. We're happy with it. I can tell you there are other counties out there that are coming in at double digits. I feel for them. They have a lot of work to do, and hopefully I wish them the best. But I think Aiken County is setting really good right now with that single digit, low single digit, and maybe we can push it down further.
Yeah.
Now, please remember, that's just the preliminary budget.
Yeah. We're not locking in numbers this morning, so there
Right.
you go.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to touch on one other item. When and hopefully you do, listen into our commissioner meetings. I received a call last week from a constituent that was concerned with the increased spending on the Roads and Bridges Department, saying that increase was, man, it's astronomical. But if you looked at the number and the levy increase, there's a zero levy increase. These are funds that have been set aside to do these projects. So there's no levy increase. Yes, they have double the workload this next year, but our great department head there, Mr. Welly, has forecasted these projects, and the funds are not being thrown as a levy increase. I just want to make that very clear.
It's important that you say that because, you know, as commissioners, you guys have a huge responsibility out there, right, to our constituents.
Sure.
But as listeners and constituents, we have a responsibility to learn and to know.
Sure.
And we are so open to ask a question, come to the board meeting, watch it live on the live stream.
Absolutely.
To get the full story. And it's important that you brought that up, that, you know, somebody's feeling like there's huge increases when really, in fact, there's not to the levy, to the taxpayer.
Yeah.
So important as listeners that you do your due diligence and learn and be involved and come see the board. I'm sure they'd love to see you in a board meeting.
Absolutely.
So there's your invite. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Please feel free to come in. Ask any question. There's a public comment time. We are more than happy to listen to your concerns or your thoughts. I mean, because when you get a lot of minds together, great things can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Commissioner, I don't know with everything you've explained how you find the time, but I do truly appreciate the time and the visit today.
Oh, thank you.
And you have an open invitation anytime you want to come sit down and talk with us all again.
All right.
Please feel free. And thanks for coming in.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be a county commissioner in Aiken County. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. There you go, folks. Commissioner Michael Kearney, District 5 in Aiken County, and you're listening to Coffee with the County.